Hey, what's up, yogis? Welcome back to my channel, Yoga with Carly. I'm so happy to be back here, especially after a little hiatus, little summer break. Today, we're gonna do yoga for menstrual cramps. So for anyone who bleeds, it's that time of the month. You're feeling maybe lethargic, low energy, some cramping in the back or low abdominal area. I have some poses just for you. All right, to make this practice today as comfortable as possible, we will be using some props, yoga blocks, blankets. If you have a bolster, great, use that. I'm in a space today where I don't have one, so I'll be using some extra blankets. All right, let's take a moment to gather your things and get in some comfy clothes, ideally something without a really tight waistband, yeah? And join me here on the mat. We'll get started here in a seat. Just taking a few breaths to settle in. Opting for comfort today. So I'm going to grab a blanket, adding it right under my hips here for a little extra support and lift. Just starting to deepen the breath. Closing the eyes or lowering the gaze somewhere in front of you. Tuning out of the busy external world as we tune in to our inner one. Using the breath as our doorway into the body and into the present moment. Drawing in a smooth breath through the nose, down into the belly, and a gentle sigh from the mouth. Shoulders softening, gliding down the back. Big breath in, belly and chest inflate like a balloon. And big exhale. One more of those. Smooth inhale. And slow, easy exhale. Good. All right. We're going to transition here to our first pose. So you can slowly drop the gaze down, blink the eyes open if they're closed. We're going to start in a supported Shavasana. We're going to start in a supported child's pose. So grab your bolster or a few blankets. I'm going to use 2 today, but if you have more and you want to use them, great. I'm going to come into child's pose. I'm going to take a little wider stance apart with my knees here. And my first blanket I have folded, pretty standard, but the second one, because I don't have a bolster here, I'm going to curl into thirds like a little taquito. Yeah, like that. We're going to be here for about 5 to 10 breaths. Okay, so what works best for my body actually today? I have 2 blankets. I'm going to grab one of my blocks. This gives me a little space for my face to be straight down. I'm still breathing comfortably. Just allowing my low back to open, expand, create space. Slight compression in the belly. Heavy head, soft shoulders, neck. Letting the breath be steady. Here, just slowly washing over me like the waves of the ocean. Scan your body while you rest here. And just as you rest in this child's pose, notice where you can soften and let go. Let's take 3 more smooth breaths here. Good. Slowly lift the forehead, walk the hands in toward you, press your way up to a seat. Taking my microphone along for the ride. Okay. Now, if you are experiencing intense lower belly cramps today, something else you could do to add to this pose is to make 2 fists, to put them right at the front of your hip points. So here are my hip bones, right in that sort of V shape. From here, I'm going to keep my fists there. And as I fold forward, it adds a nice bit of pressure just in between my thighs, my belly, right here into the low belly uterus. Good. Now if I want to get into this really comfortably, I'm going to let my elbows sort of chicken wing out to the side, heavy. Breathing deep into the belly and pelvic floor. Good. We'll come up out of that. It's our child's pose. Take these props off to the side. Next few movements we can do here, some gentle cat and cow spinal flexions. So I'm going to take the toes and point them straight back from my knees in a bit of a wider stance. Start to take some gentle cat and cows, arching the back, belly's heavy. Chin to chest, tailbone down, cat pose. Good. Inhale, scooping forward and up. Long collarbone, shoulder blades squeeze together. Exhale, rounding the back, chin to chest, lower belly lift. A few more of these. Back and forth. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. I always tell my students, if there's any movement here that you want to incorporate that just feels good, your body's asking for a little rock side to side or forward and back, do that. Good. Treat these movements like when you are taking a pair of pants out of the wash, doing your little pants dance until they fit comfortably. Maybe 1 or 2 more rounds, circling the head and neck if that feels good. And we'll meet back in tabletop. All right. I'm gonna cross my ankles and come onto my seat here on the hips. I'm going to take a butterfly pose. From the front, it'll look like this, grabbing my yoga blocks. Soles of my feet together, knees open wide, heavy. A lot of times we'll stuff the blocks under the knees like this, but to get even more comfortable, see if you can take the faces of the blocks, line those up with the legs instead. Yeah, just like this. Now you can take this position upright, hands bound to the ankles, sitting up as tall as you can, but again, not straining the body too much today. Offering support to the knees and hips through the blocks. Taking a few breaths here. If you like, and you have a bolster or some pillows, blankets, you can also create a really nice support here to come into a reclined butterfly. Good. Now, I'm not on a real bolster, so these blankets aren't quite long enough if you see my head is dangling here off the top. So in that case, I'm gonna come back up. And I'm just going to add a third blanket. So one of the perks of being in a classroom here, although we don't yet have bolsters. Okay. So we want you to be supported under the knees and thighs, and also from the base of your spine up through the top of the head. Releasing tension and effort in the inner thighs, the glutes, the face, forehead. This is one of my favorite asanas or yoga poses. Supported reclined butterfly or supported Baddha Konasana. Let's take 3 more breaths here. If you want to be here for longer, of course you can pause the video and spend a little more time. One more big belly breath in. And a gentle sigh. Good. Again, feel free to stay here for longer. I love this pose. Slowly lifting the head up, scooching the elbows in underneath you so you can come up gently. I always like to brace myself and just take my time coming up out of this pose, especially such a restorative, relaxing one. Maybe a little bit of head movement, lifting the knees, extending those legs long, wiggling the toes. Good. All right. Palms to the mat, help press yourself up. I'm going to take these blankets out of the way, or your bolster. Keep them close and off to the side. Blocks coming off to the side. And then come all the way onto my back. Good. I'm spending a few breaths here. I'm going to hug my knees into my chest. And just gently rock a little side to side, massaging that tender low back area. Breathing down into the belly. Good. And then taking a gentle twist here. I'm going to grab a blanket because I know it'll feel really good under my knees. So I'm going to take a blanket. Let me sit back up. So standard fold. The yoga blanket will usually have you looking like this, yeah? Got a couple folds and half, half, half again. So what I'm gonna do is keep it just like this, or maybe undo one fold so it's a little longer and flatter. I'm gonna start actually on this. Come back onto the back, knees into the chest, and slowly drop those knees, for me, all the way to the right onto my blanket. I'm gonna use my right hand to hug and just hold these legs down. Left arm's gonna reach up to the sky and then open to the left with my palm up, either looking straight up or over at my fingers here on the left hand. And I'm actually deciding as I'm settling in here, I'm gonna take my blanket number 2, and I'm gonna add it between my knees, just for a little extra comfort and lift today. Letting the upper back settle back down into the mat. And continuing to take smooth breaths here. Eyes closing, jaw softening. Lengthening down through the tailbone. The glutes are soft. Just giving your body time to rest and be supported. Good. 3 more breaths here, or pause the video and stay as long as you'd like. Good. Look up to center. I'm going to keep these blankets close by. The one in between my knees will stay. I'm going to lift it up slowly back to center. I'm going to take this blanket and just flip it here to my left. Good. And your hips might stay anchored right at the center of your mat. I sometimes like to adjust mine. Letting both my knees sink onto the blanket here on the left, supported in the middle here by my second blanket. Left hand is going to help anchor the legs. I'm going to reach that right hand up and then open, palm facing up. Just resting here. Easy supine twist. And as you draw in those breaths here, I invite you to breathe into the spaces you may feel that density, where you may feel the clenching of your uterus and the muscles of your pelvic floor, the low back, anywhere else you may experience your cycle. Every exhale is an opportunity to soften a little bit more. A few more breaths here. Slowly inhale, lift the gaze. And let's bring those knees back up to center. Ditch the blanket if you had one between the thighs. I like to bring my palms to my kneecaps and just slowly make circles with my knees. Circles around the base of my spine, tailbone. Switching directions, going both ways. Good. Releasing the feet back down. If you'd like to take a little breather here, just bring your hands to your body. Feeling the warmth and weight of your palms resting on the low belly. Knees resting against one another. Okay. There are a few other poses we could incorporate today, but I want to offer you something short, sweet, and simple. So we're going to finish with the legs up the wall. It's pretty much just as it sounds. So in order to get into this pose, we are going to have to use a wall. If you don't have a wall, you can also come to the edge of your couch or your bed. Imagine I had one here, in which case I could just place my thighs up against the edge of the couch and rest my heels on the seat or the mattress of your bed. You can always add a pillow if you need extra height, because you want to be able to soften and just let your legs hang. This part of your legs hang. This part should stay elevated, ideally knee above the hip. Since I don't have a couch, but I do have a wall, I'm going to take my mat and my props. I'm going to just readjust here, mat to the wall. Because I know I want to be here and feel comfortable for a little while, I am also going to take one of my blankets and I'm going to open it so that it's only folded twice. Yes, this is folded half and half again. Nice long and flat support right here under my spine. These are the moments in your restorative practices where you really do want to take your time smoothing out like Princess and the Pea, so there aren't any wrinkles. Maybe I'll even give myself a little treat by rolling up the end for my head. Okay, and then most of us are going to want another blanket to sit under the hips against the wall. Some of you might be able to scoot your hips all the way down comfortably, no problem. For some of us, that's going to feel pretty intense, so that extra lift is handy. Okay. Now I'm going to scooch my butt right up against this wall, just like this. I'm going to come onto my blanket. I'm going to lay back. Oop, not close enough. I'm going to come even closer. Might feel silly the first time you do this. Just get there. How you get there? Lifting the hips onto my blanket. Lifting my head to adjust and give myself just the right lift with my pillow. And if you're really indulgent, you could even bring blankets right under your wrists here, like so. So they stay slightly elevated and cushioned. I might just rest on my knuckles here or bring my hands to my low belly. And continuing to breathe here, about 15 to 20 rounds of breath. When you're ready to come down, you'll slowly bend the knees. Knees coming into the chest. You're going to roll to the left or to the right, onto your side, into the fetal position. You're going to stay here for another 3 to 5 breaths. And then using your top hand, help press the ground down and come back up to a seat. You can see my little setup here. If you tend to get crampy a lot during the week, during your bleed, I do recommend giving some of these poses or all of these poses a try. You can even leave yours set up against the wall here if you know you just like one pose and it's legs up the wall. I hope that you are feeling some relief, feeling better, and if you need, come back to this video anytime. It was an honor to practice with you. Thank you so much for your time, for your practice, and I will see you on the mat for our next one. All right, peace.